Hello and welcome to The Engine Room, the podcast where we explore the trends, insights and ideas that are shaping the future of B2B marketing. I'm your host, my name is Laura Pearsall and I'm the Head of Sales Marketing at Prime Creative Media. I've been working in B2B media for the last 20 years. I started out as a journalist, I've worked as an editor, a managing editor, and now I've moved over to the marketing side, working really closely with clients to bring their campaigns to life and tell their stories in a way that B2B buyers will really connect with. I'm joined today by my co-host, Christine Clancy, who's our CEO here at Prime Creative Media. Hello, Christine. Welcome.
Hello, Laura. So excited to get this kicked off. Isn't it great?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Christine, do you want to tell everyone a little bit about your background in B2B media?
So similar to you. So I come from an editorial background. I've been with Prime Creative for 15 years now. And it's just been so exciting learning about B2B marketing and how we can extend it to our clients. And it's so exciting to have this platform now that we can share it with the world. How great is that?
Absolutely. That's what we're here to do. So each episode in the Engine Room, we'll be unpacking the strategies that are helping B2B companies build awareness, generate leads, and really drive that long-term growth that we know they're all looking for. So we'll be sharing some of the insights for what we're seeing across industry, so some of the campaigns and the great content that are crossing our desks each week across our very many publications. We've got over 70 titles now, Christine. Can you believe that?
I cannot believe that. 70 titles. That is wild. When I started, I think we had about 5. So how crazy is that?
Yeah, it's definitely been an amazing growth journey.
Yeah.
But with 70 titles, what we definitely get to see is quite a few marketing campaigns every week. There's no shortage of them. And the Engine Room is really about showcasing the best campaigns that we see, sharing those insights with our listeners and helping them with their campaigns.
Absolutely. Because what I've seen and what we've noticed, there's a lot of information out there about consumer marketing. And I think even in universities, what people study, it's a lot of consumer marketing, branding awareness, but B2B is so different. Selling things like Coca-Cola is a lot different than selling trucks and trailers and conveyor belts and machines. So we want to help people who maybe learned about, marketing on a theory level, but more on the consumer side, how to bring that in when they're doing B2B marketing, when they're selling this bigger equipment, when they're marketing to businesses.
Absolutely. We want to be all about practical insights with this podcast. And with that in mind, what we're doing today with our first episode is kicking off by sharing a little bit of information about our recent reader survey that we conducted, looking at what B2B buyers are really prioritizing in 2026, what they're interested, where they're seeing challenges, but also the campaigns and the things that are really driving results from a buying point of view. Now, here at Prime Creative Media, we survey our audience quite regularly. It's something that we're really keen to do. We really want to engage with our readers and understand what they like about what we do, what they engage with, and what they're particularly interested in. Christine, you've run these surveys quite a few times yourself, haven't you?
It's so important because you can be a publisher and you can say, okay, well, this is what we think is important, but really until you talk to your readers and you're like, what does matter to you? Like, what do you want to read about? And it's not just for content. It's also, we want to say, okay, at the end of the day, we're here, we're in B2B marketing. We're here to help our clients grow. We're here to help them sell more products. And so the people that matter, the decision makers that are buying their products, we want to know, what is it? What's going to help you buy so that we can then give that information to our clients. We can engage with them through these publications, giving great information out there that helps grow the industry, but importantly, is going to help our clients sell more products. And if you're a B2B marketer, that's what you want to do at the end of the day. You want to sell more products. So let's talk about what's going to work.
Absolutely. So there were 3 key things that we really looked at and we wanted to understand a little bit more in conducting the survey this time. We wanted to understand from our buyers, what are your actual purchasing priorities and what are some of the challenges that you're facing at the moment? We also wanted to understand a little bit more about what's happening with marketing budgets coming up into 2026. We know that every year is different. Every year presents its own challenges. So we wanted to understand a little bit more about what our readers, who are our clients' buyers, what are they dealing with? And we really wanted to understand a little bit more about the marketing campaign details that actually make buyers sit up and pay attention. So we're just going to pop up on screen a little bit of information about the survey that we actually conducted.
Yeah.
So we spoke to 856 of our readers across 9 different industries. And we had a really good mix of participants. 41% of which were senior executives, business owners, or general managers. So the thing that we love about that is obviously we're talking about people with real purchasing power here, aren't we?
Absolutely. These are the people who, and I can say it, and I often use an example like, at Prime, like I'm a decision maker. At the end of the day, I'm going to be the one approving if we're going to make these large purchases. So we want to make sure it's the people, it is a little bit like me, or people who have that purchasing power. We want to know what's going to get you over the line to buy a product.
Absolutely. And if you're watching on video today, you'll be able to see this on screen. But if you're not, if you're just listening, we'll take you through it a little bit. So some of the roles of people that participated in this survey, we had business owners, senior executives, general managers, engineers. We work a lot in construction, in mining. So we obviously had a lot of people in engineering roles, operational leaders, and commercial decision makers. So as you said, Christine, exactly the kind of people that we're wanting to communicate with as B2B marketers.
Yeah, because you think about it, there's the main decision makers, but then there's all those influencers. So those other people who are going to come, they're going to knock on my door. They're going to say, hey, Christine, have you thought about buying this product?
Absolutely. And we know in 2026 in B2B marketing, there's more and more people involved in that purchasing decision process.
Every dollar counts. And you're not just going to go and buy a $200,000 piece of equipment without multiple people really pitching in and telling you really should be doing this.
Yep. Everyone's going to have their say and weigh in.
Yep.
And so a little bit more data on the roles that people were performing. We had 23% of respondents who were in senior or specialist or other roles. So that's things like principals, project leaders, and functional heads. We also had 41% in senior executive roles, so business owners or general managers. 10% hold sales or marketing leadership roles. And then we had 16% on that engineering and technical specialist side, which we know is really important in B2B in particular.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So we'll move along and we'll start telling you about, from the responses that we gathered, we were actually able to distill these into 7 key findings and translate them into practical guidance for businesses seeking to maximize their B2B marketing impact in 2026. So what we're going to do today is talk through those 7 key findings. And what we've also done is put these together into a white paper, which you can download from our website. We'll put the link to that in the show notes, so anyone who's interested in reading the full report can absolutely jump in and do that. But to start with today, we're actually going to go through those 7 key findings and just talk a little bit about them and what we saw and what we're taking away from those findings. So our first one, trust is the defining currency. So
trust.
Christine, probably not a surprise in B2B industries where we've got people who are making multi-million-dollar purchases at times.
And I would actually argue it's more than just in B2B. Media in general today, trust, like where it's eroding in so many areas, like there's things that people will just not buy off Facebook anymore because they have been scammed that many times. So you want to make sure what you're reading about, it's true and it comes from a credible source and that you trust it. And if you're going to work with a company and you're going to make this investment, I'd much rather work with a company that I trust than a company that I just see everywhere,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the thing that was really interesting that we found in the research was that trust can be generated in a number of different ways. It can be developed through like thought leadership and thought leaders in industry from a content position, but really from a media point of view, the publication that you're using to communicate with your target buyers is really key. Yeah. And also not just the publication, but also the platform that you use to communicate on is really important too.
Absolutely. You go back to Marshall McLuhan, like the medium is the message.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, it's still the case. There are just things that you're just not going to buy off of Google and Facebook, that you will buy, when you're in person at an event, when you're reading about them in a trusted platform, when you're reading about it like on a dedicated platform that you trust. So really just getting your numbers out there. It's not just like get it out there, but really be considerate. Be considerate with every dollar you spend and make sure you're spending it in platforms that these decision makers trust.
Absolutely. All right, well, we might move on to our next point, which was buyers want proof, not promotion. Now, I loved this one. It came up repeatedly in a number of different ways, looking for proof over promotion. And the main way this kept coming up was in the kind of content that our readers really want to see and the kind of content that they actually find influential. And the number one thing that they want to read from us is case studies.
Case studies. We've been talking about it for years. Our journalists love writing them. And it is just the genius. It is talking about your product. But you know what? If you just tell me your product's great. It's like, okay, that's nice. It's nice to hear it from you. Tell me, inform me about it. But I actually want to hear from one of your clients who knows, might be one of my competitors or someone I really admire, how they use that product. And that to me, that is creating that trust. And that is really going to influence me in terms of wanting to learn more about this and really trusting that product.
It's the ultimate show, not tell, isn't it?
Absolutely.
As marketers,
Yeah.
we are always told to do that. And even
Yeah.
as storytellers, we're always told to do that. We know our journalists are storytellers and they do some amazing content marketing.
Yeah.
We're always told to show, not tell. Case studies are the best way to do this. What could be better than having one of your clients who loves working with you and your product advocate for you?
Yeah. And doing it on a third-party platform, like taking a story about yourself, putting it on your own website. Again, that's promotion. But using a third-party platform like an industry media publication and getting, the journalist to talk to one of your clients and really it's so valuable for the readers because it's giving them a solution, but really it's helping support your product so much.
Absolutely. And we know people love to hear from people like themselves.
Absolutely.
They're going to be influenced by people who look like them, sound like them, are performing similar roles to them.
Yep.
That's the real magic and gold of a case study, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Case study. We call case studies at Prime, we call them B2B gold because that's what it is. You're working with the clients, you're helping promote their product, but you're doing it with a decision maker that people want to read about.
And also when that case study, when that person is being interviewed by a journalist, helps build that trust.
They love it. It builds your trust with your clients. So it's really a win-win.
Yep. Across the board.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our third insight. This was quality over mass quantity.
Yes.
Again, this is something that we've been harping on about in B2B for quite a long time.
Yeah.
But sometimes the thing with doing a survey like this is it can reinforce some of the ideas that you've known are true for a really long time, but you might have moved on from. And in marketing, we all get excited about the new toy, the new
numbers.
platform.
Can you give me as many numbers as possible?
The numbers, absolutely. We can all get excited by that. But sometimes it's really good to entrench yourself back in the data and understand what your actual reader and client is saying. And what they're telling us is it's not about reaching, 50,000 people. Yeah. Sometimes it's actually about reaching the right people in the right way.
Absolutely. You think, you're selling pieces of equipment, they're worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, some of these things, these software contracts, these services that you're selling. So you only have to make a handful of sales, but just like throwing a bunch of spaghetti at a wall, hoping what sticks, like that's not going to work. Like use your money wisely, use your budgets wisely, and just invest in really good platforms and find the exact right person, find who your ideal client is, and then find a publication where that's their exact reader.
Absolutely. All right, our next point that we're looking at is trusted media has an influential role. Christine, what do you want to tell us about what we found here?
All right, so the thing with trusted media, again, it comes back a little bit to what I said, the medium is the message. You have to appreciate, if you're depending you're on Facebook and Google, to sell these big pieces of equipment, like these are not trusted media. These are things that people use in their personal lives. In terms of professional lives, you have to think of what is information that people trust. And often that is trade media. If I'm coming to work every day, I'm reading in trade media or I'm reading, good financial mainstream media, I'm reading about these things. I'm trusting the media. So if I come across advertising, naturally, I'm going to be just much more open to it. Yeah. So I think it's important just really understand where you're spending your money and make sure it's something that's well known in the market and that's trusted by the decision makers, the people that you want to reach.
And the thing with utilizing trusted media is the halo effect that comes with it. You get the benefit of the trust that transfers to your brand. It's a win-win, like we were saying before. And I think this flows into our fifth point, which was about the fact that engagement with industry media, it's habitual. Yep. What we did find through this study was that our readers are coming to our websites in particular. Yeah. They're coming there multiple times a week.
Yeah.
A significant proportion, well over, I think it was in the 70% were telling us that they were using trade media at least one or more times per week. Now, if you're going to a website or a news information source one or more times a week, you've got that trust.
Yeah.
You trust it. You trust the information that's being brought to you.
And what an opportunity. All these decision makers, these potential clients, that they're going to this source every week. What an opportunity to use that to get your message out there. We meet a lot of clients and they they're like, oh, we can just write our own content and put it on our own websites and newsletters. People aren't visiting your website every week for information, So it's really important. You want to go where your clients are, and trade media is what they're reading, but quality trade media.
Absolutely.
Like we do here at Prime Creative. Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. Christine. We know that they're hanging out at these websites, and they are here. And what they told us, they're coming to the websites. Absolutely. They're coming for news, features, the latest developments in industries, but they are actually coming to learn about products and services.
To buy new products. Absolutely.
They specifically told us, and in the white paper, which you should absolutely download, as I said, the link is in the show notes. What they told us was they specifically come to do research and to learn about new products and services.
Yeah.
That's what they're coming here for.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's such an opportunity, really, to get involved, take advantage of that trust and use that to promote your products.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Moving on to our sixth insight, we found from the research and what we got in the data that came back to us was that business confidence and investment appetite were both relatively strong, which was really pleasing to see. And look, to be perfectly honest, possibly a little bit surprising. I didn't expect the feedback to come back that strong in terms of how positive people were feeling about business outlook. Yeah. But we had about 91% of people that were telling us that they were looking at either keeping employment levels stable or even hiring more people.
Yep.
I know out in the industry there are people that sort of might be experiencing things differently, but it was really interesting to know that a lot of people were telling us, actually, no, we're feeling pretty positive.
Yeah, I think we're just, we're really lucky in this country in terms of things, have continued to be strong. People are looking to invest. Industry is really strong. That's the great thing about being in B2B and doing B2B marketing.
Critical services.
Industry, exactly. Critical services. We're not as, fluctuation for consumer spending. So I think it is a good time. And even when things are tight, sometimes that's a chance for companies to look and invest in new products, to bring on that software that they've been delaying, to upgrade their equipment. Sometimes that is that opportunity. So it's good to see that there's confidence out there, and you want to have a steady presence in the market.
Absolutely.
I think this is one mistake we see people do is they kind of come and go. They're like, oh, we'll spend a lot because things are good. We'll bring it down. You should be doing the opposite. You should have a good, steady presence of marketing so that you're there, because the truth is people don't make decisions just, 1 month because it's good.
Nope.
It takes 12, 18 months sometimes to make decisions on these products. So you want to have that constant presence in front of decision makers.
And that was absolutely something that came through in the research too.
Yeah.
People told us that they are looking to research new products and services for use within their business, not necessarily for purchase straight away, but they are in research mode.
Yeah.
And when you've got potential clients in research mode, really what we're knowing and what we're learning about B2B marketing more and more is that you need to be on what we call here a day one list.
Absolutely.
You need to be on that day one list that your clients have been storing in the back of their mind. They've been thinking about these products and services and thinking it's not for today, but it will be for one day down the track. They've got their list, their day one list ready to go of when they've got budget.
Yeah.
This is exactly who I'm going to call. And the best way to be on that day one list is with your always on marketing.
Always on marketing, a good steady presence in the market.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Excellent.
And then the last insight we wanted to talk about today was we found some really specific, unique marketing insights by sector. Yeah. So as we said at the top of the episode, we've got 70 publications. We work in about sort of 9 key industries is where we sort of define them as sitting under. Naturally, there's going to be some slightly different insights and slightly different preferences for how people want to be communicated with depending on the industry that they're in. There was a really interesting insight here, particularly in our industries where they have a really a heavy SME focus, so lots of small businesses. So we're talking things like hospitality. We have a lot of publications in the coffee and hospitality space. What the readers told us in that particular industry, how they want to be communicated with, it's a bit more of a friendly tone, and really what they're looking for is understanding and insights about what people like them are doing day to day.
Yes.
What are their fellow colleagues doing?
What are other businesses doing? What's it like for them? Yeah.
What are they struggling? What are they dealing with? What are the challenges?
Yeah.
We see that a lot with, for example, we've just had our event MICE, Melbourne International Coffee Exhibition. We work a lot with cafe owners at that particular event.
Yeah.
That particular group, They really just want to be spoken to in a way that feels friendly and familiar.
And what we really found with that, with these smaller businesses, is you have such an opportunity, and it's not just about promoting your products. Help these businesses grow, show them how you can help them, be genuine about it. Like, this product is going to be so good for you. And if you can do that, you are helping their business grow, and you're also like growing your own. Like, it's just, that's really the best way, is just be genuine and just genuinely want to support growing businesses.
And show them that you're a partner.
Yeah.
You want to work with them as a partner.
Yeah. And listen and understand what they're going through. And a lot of good ways to do this is going back to it, case studies with your clients. Again, it's a great way not to only talk about your product. It's a great way to, have that, third party recognition in terms of reporting on it as well. But it just also get to know your clients and how they're using your product.
Absolutely. Spend time with them. On the other hand, on the flip side, we also work in a lot of industries that are quite heavily regulated. So we have quite a few publications in the medical space and in wealth management as another example.
Yep.
Now, that is a totally different approach.
Yeah.
In that kind of industry, what those buyers are looking for is, they trust, as we've been saying from the top, but they really need to know that you are positioning yourself as a leader in industry,
yes.
but also that you're someone that can help them meet regulatory requirements. That
Absolutely.
is critical.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And that's where that education piece really comes in. It's not just about promoting products, but really showing yourself as an authority, and as much as possible, really like a thought leader within the industry. This is what's coming up. And when a piece of regulation comes out, it's a good idea, put a piece out about it and work with the trade media, give some comments to show that you're really an authority and that you're there to support them with these regulations.
Absolutely. Get in front of things like that for sure. And then a third sector that we learned a lot about was sort of things like manufacturing and and mining and resources. We also have a lot of publications in that space, and events as well. And what we found in those sectors are they are quite technical.
Yep.
There's a lot of change happening. There's a lot of new technology. What those readers are really keen to learn more about is, well, what are the new technologies?
Yes.
What do I have available to me so I can actually stay ahead of the curve? They're highly competitive industries.
Yep.
They need every advantage that they can get. And the way that they can get in front of those advantages is by knowing what the latest products and tools are.
Yeah, we've got a lot of events, especially in the mining space, and it's always about companies coming out. They want to know what's new, how can it help, with our production, with our extraction. It's all about efficiency, really about maximizing production. And so everything you do, once again, you can still do it through case studies, but talking to some clients or talking about really how are you going to help in terms of these latest technology, how it's going to help their business.
Fantastic. Yeah. Thanks, Christine. All right, well, there's our 7 insights. As I mentioned at the top, I mentioned it a couple of times now, you can download the full report from the link in the show notes. And with this report, we've had a bit of a conversation about it today. The report dives deep, lots of data, lots of statistics. So if you're looking for a little bit more insight to go a little bit deeper, jump online, download the report, and let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. Excellent.
Fantastic. All right. Well, at this stage of the episode, now we're going to talk about our campaign of the week.
Campaign of the week. I feel like we need a song or something to celebrate it.
We need a sound effect.
Yeah. We'll definitely do a sound effect here. We'll work on that one. Yeah.
We'll work on that one. We'll come back to you with that one. So what we wanted to do in this segment is really pick one of our favorite campaign that crossed our desks this week.
Yeah.
As we said at the top, lots of magazines, lots of campaigns. We get to see some great campaign. We get to see some really incredible creative in terms of print and digital advertising. We get to see some really innovative content approaches to content marketing and B2B marketing. So this is our chance to really highlight the campaigns that we've seen and really loved.
Yes. All right. And I think we've chosen one from our lovely Tradie magazine.
We sure have.
All right.
Tradie, I thought we could actually start by just chatting a little bit about Tradie magazine. Yep. I love Tradie. One of my favorite mags that we do here. Our tagline for Tradie is talk and tools and toys. Yeah. So I think that gives you a bit of an insight into the kind of mag Tradie is, doesn't it?
It's kind of fun. Like, look, we're mostly B2B. This is one we're closest to consumer, but it is still B2B. Tradies are running businesses, and the magazine is about helping tradies run better businesses, really.
Absolutely. And it's really good at meeting its readers where they're at. It's really good at striking that sort of conversational, fun tone that tradies like to speak in. It's a great vehicle for companies working in that space. Yeah. And we had a really fantastic campaign go live a little bit earlier in the quarter, actually. And this one was for Bosch for their measurement tools. Mm-hmm. So what we used with this client, or what they chose to use, was our tradie tough tests.
Yeah.
These are case study videos, and they really just tick all the boxes from
Everything.
a B2B campaign, don't they? Like, we've spoken so much in this episode about how important case studies are.
Yeah.
What we haven't spoken about is how important video is these days.
Yes. Well, really, it's multiple platform. Media consumption is changing. There's people who love their print mags. They love to pick them up and flip through. People who love to read their newsletters online. People who love to flick through videos. People who love to go through socials. And the great thing about a campaign with like the tradie or working in any of our publications, we can actually cover all those mediums through one piece of content. And we'll talk a little bit about what that looks like.
Absolutely. So with our tradie tough tests, the hero of these campaigns is always the video. So it starts with our video. And what we love about these videos is we get real tradies. We have real tradies that come out and they take a tool and they put it through their paces. And that's exactly what happened with our Bosch electrical measurement tools this week.
Yeah.
We had our tradie. He's a solar installer, Ferdinand. And what he did was he showed us, he takes everyone behind the scenes and shows you how he uses these tools on the job site. It is like, it couldn't be a better case study.
It's so great. And you can see, and then you take this video, you write a print story about it, you have it in the mag so people can flick through and have a look. And then again, through social media, through Instagram, getting it out there. But it's that B2B gold, that case study where you have, we're talking about the product, but it's that proof. If we go back to this, buyers want proof, that promotion. This is a tradie using it. Trust is the defining currency. You're on a trusted thing in the tradie. It's not Bosch putting it out on their own socials. It's coming from the tradie. And in terms of quality over mass quantity, that's what it is. It's quality audience. These are the tradies who are going to get the campaign. So really, you think it really just checks all the boxes in terms of a great campaign.
Absolutely. And for the client, what I really love about these is it really embodies that idea of create once, publish everywhere.
Yes.
We speak about that a bit here at Prime Creative Media. It is spoken about quite a lot in publishing these days, particularly as we all work across many different platforms.
Yeah.
So what you have is a client that's able to produce a single video, but then from there, as you said, you also get your article on the website, you get your e-newsletter story, you get your article in the magazine. The video was supported by a print ad as well. So there were all of these different touch points for the client to interact with and learn about this product and how it's utilized. It was shared on socials as well to the 85,000 followers that the tradie has on socials. It really, one piece of content can go so far.
And you can meet your reader like whatever their media consumption is. And I think that's important in any campaign. You want to really be open. There's so many different types of media consumption these days. So this is just an ideal campaign that, just like you said, it checks all the boxes. So well done to Tradie Magazine and well done to Bosch.
Loved it. And really what it did was it ticked off a lot of what we sort of consider to be the fundamentals of B2B marketing, which is a really nice segue for us to sort of introduce what we're going to be talking about in the next episode of The Engine Room. We have what we call our 5 fundamentals of B2B marketing. Christine, we know them well.
We know them well. And every B2B marketer should know these things. So again, if you want to grow, if you want to learn more about B2B marketing, please join us for that next episode.
Absolutely. So we'll be covering that on the next episode of The Engine Room. So we'd love to encourage you to like and subscribe to The Engine Room in your favorite podcast feed to make sure that you don't miss an episode. But this is probably the perfect place to wrap up our first episode of The Engine Room. Christine, it's been really fun.
It's been great, Laura, and it's so great. Again, we've worked with this. We've been doing this for so many years. We've got a purpose here at Prime Creative Media. We want to grow individuals, organizations, and industries. In individuals, we want to grow our teams, but we want to grow B2B marketers out there. We want to help them do a better job. And this is us. This is trying to spread that knowledge and to support B2B marketers.
Absolutely. We're all about giving back. So we'll be back in your ears in a fortnight, sharing more insights and campaigns from the world of B2B marketing. But for now, thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.
Yes, thanks so much, Laura, and thanks everyone for tuning in.